Listen, it's true. We're all trying to eat better. But healthy breakfast doesn't have to be boring! Because Magic Spoon has the amazing flavors you love, but without all the bad stuff. 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, 4 net grams of carbs, and only 140 calories a serving. Magic Spoon is keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. You can build your own box from their 9 available flavors. The hits: cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, cookies and cream, maple waffle, blueberry muffin, cinnamon roll, and honey nut. That's a given. Even more exciting? Magic Spoon just brought back their cereal bars. They were so popular that they brought them back permanently. It's the perfectly convenient, on-the-go companion for your cereal. That's the Magic Spoon way, isn't it? Get a little taste of that limited edition goodness before they bring it back for real. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for bringing it back for real. Go to magicspoon.com/nodunks to grab a custom bundle of cereal. And be sure to use our promo code NODUNKS at checkout to save $5 off your order. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, Magic Spoon's gonna refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/nodunks. Use the code NODUNKS to save $5 off. Thank you to Magic Spoon for sponsoring this classic episode of No Dunks.
Bagels for breakfast this morning, but you know what else I do? I put cucumbers on top of my bagel, so I'll put this jalapeno cream cheese on. Sorry. And then jalapeno cream cheese on cucumbers. I'm telling you, it's a great topping. It's crunchy, it's spicy, and it's just yummy.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Monday, June 6th. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me here in the Classic Factory, as always, Tass Mellis.
The world is very meta. We were just laughing at a guy reacting to somebody putting cream cheese and cucumber on a bagel. You know, everybody's just reacting to everything. Why don't we just start a channel reacting to reactions?
It's a good idea.
People will watch it.
Fresh out of health and safety protocols, got the top shot hot boy himself, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o.
Hey-yo. Great to have you back, TK. We got the international man of mystery taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
And last, certainly not least, finding cold opens like that, super producer JD.
Did Nora send me that one? Who sent me that one?
That was a Nora.
Yeah.
She said, this feels like a cold open you guys would use and giggle about while you go live on the air.
She has great instincts.
She knows us. Shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. Take a second, like the video. Subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube. Share the show and comment away both in the stream team or below in the YouTube comments. Tweet at us too, at No Dunks Inc. And email in your NBA questions about the NBA or not to nodunks@theathletic.com. Okay, on today's show, we will do a deep dive really on Quin Snyder stepping down as the Jazz head coach, what that means for, well, who's going to coach the team and the direction of their franchise, and also Donovan Mitchell. Woj says he's unnerved.
Well, I woke up unnerved and unsettled yesterday, but it was from eating too much Chipotle on Saturday. You don't want to dip into a burrito at 1 a.m., let me tell you.
Well, you could have filmed the video like that woman. I guess.
Indeed.
Wow. Okay, anyway.
It's hard. Chipotle's so hard. So many options. You just want to pick them all, you know?
Give me one of everything.
But before we get to Snyder and burrito talk and even tweet of the night, we had a game 2 of the NBA Finals on last night, and the Warriors dominated this one. Classic third quarter Warriors.
Sure.
And then maintained that lead in the fourth. Then we got some garbage time. Warriors beat the Celtics 107-88 to even the NBA Finals. Tass, where do you want to start with this one?
Well, big adjustment for the Golden State Warriors. Play better defense. That was huge. The Warriors scored one fewer point than they did in Game 1, but the biggest change was the defensive end. It started with their best defensive player, Draymond Green. You saw it on the first possession. stealing it from Al Horford, causing that jump ball. But that was a gotcha. He's not guarding Al Horford. He's going to guard Jaylen Brown for a good chunk of this game. And maybe it was because Jaylen Brown was so good to start this game, they had to move Draymond over to him. But I'm sure that was part of the plan because Jaylen Brown was so good in game one. It just looked like the Warriors didn't really have a lot of good matchups for Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Maybe Wiggins can guard one of them, but Jaylen was killing Klay Thompson, and who else are you going to put there on him? Trying Andre Iguodala, trying a lot of people. He hit 4 of his first 5 shots here in game 2, and then only won the rest of the way. Draymond Green was big. There was that great possession in the second quarter where he stopped 3 Jaylen Brown moves and was able to get a really bad shot from Jaylen Brown. So that was a big move, Draymond Green on Jaylen Brown there. The Celtics had 11 first-half turnovers, but this was a really close game at half, surprisingly. Just a 2-point game because the Warriors missed layup after layup after layup after layup, 5-6 in that first half. Poole had a really bad spurt there, but it was a fun first half. Derek White, a couple big blocks on Poole and Steph Curry, but the other Celtics did not go off like they did in game 1, mainly Horford, Derek White, and Marcus Smart. We'll get to them in a sec. So flip the page to the third quarter. As we said, it was a blistering third quarter for the Warriors. But it was surprising. Looking back, 4:30 left in the third quarter. Still a 6-point game. It was pretty tight. And that's when Curry went off. They allowed him to go pick and roll. So that kind of prevented a lot of the Celtics turnovers that happened in the first game. Instead of him running around and having to make more passes to find him, just give him the ball up top and allow him to work some different types of magic. A pick and roll to the middle, pick and roll to the sideline, and he just got hot. And I thought this wasn't a smiley Steph game. It was as stone-faced as you could get from a Steph game. It wasn't quite LeBron stone-faced against the Celtics, but there was no smiley, no jumpy.
No skipping.
No, very little of that, but he went off in that third quarter towards the end there. As I said, it's a 6-point game, but then he started going off. 14-point quarter for him, finished with 29. And then Poole came in to finish that third quarter, which was a blast to watch because, as I said, bad spurt in the first half. People wondering, is he going to play in this series? Right. And I think he was held out till really late in that third quarter because he was just making bad decisions in the first half, going into traffic. But he came back, an assist, then a deep 3, and then an even deeper 3 from half, just dancing on him. Wild stuff.
Steph did smile.
He smiled.
He was very smiley at that one.
You're very right. And that when I said he was stone-faced, that's the smile I thought of. There was a smile for somebody else, but no skipping, just came out and laughed. Because Poole, 17 points was the second highest scoring number for the Warriors. Jordan Poole there. It was a dominating win, especially because Wiggins had a bad shooting night. Klay had a bad shooting night, but they dominated 35-14 in that third quarter, and that was basically it. The Celtics scored 20 and 14 in the middle quarters. They scored 88 points in total, the fewest points they've scored in any of their 20 playoff games. And again, it was just getting into the Celtics and able to fall back. Eventually Brown and Tatum are going to get past your first line of defense, but they were able to take away lobs. They were able to get in the passing lanes, and they imposed their will on the defensive end. It was a 35-14 third quarter, all she wrote. And I think my last note here, Gary Payton II coming back and helping on Tatum and Brown, who looked to be, again, unstoppable, really, against this Golden State Warriors team. Gary Payton II is so important with Iguodala being old, Klay Thompson not looking quite like the dynasty defensive guy. So that was really, really key. And Al Horford only 2 points. Derek White only 12 points on 13 shots, although he did some good things defensively. And Smart only 2 points to go along with Tatum and Brown, who had 28 and 17, 88 points. This was an impressive defensive effort.
What do you think, Lee?
Overall, I thought the Celtics started off the game actually pretty well. I mean, they were up 9 points early on, and it wasn't really that Warriors defense didn't really take effect until sort of midway through, I think, sort of the second quarter there. And then, because Jaylen Brown just came out firing away, it was like he's on track for 60 here tonight, but he obviously did cool off here. But I think you could just tell that the Warriors didn't let that first quarter rattle them at all. They came out and they knew that they had to go out and get this one. And Steph was good, but this was a grind-out victory, I still believe, other than, the sort of explosion there in the third quarter, because the Warriors didn't really just go out there and find everyone. You sort of almost expect someone like a Klay Thompson to have 6 threes. He had a little burst there in the third quarter where he hit a couple, he only hit the 1-3. But I think you also noticed, and he stayed in the game late, I think Steve Kerr's really trying to get him some sort of rhythm, some sort of momentum, because he can't shoot right now, which is crazy for Klay. He's taken the same sort of shots that we see. Sometimes they don't always look like they're great shots, but when it's Klay, he's got the green light to fire away. So I think that's what they're trying to do. He hit a couple, but he also was like, all right, I've got to get inside. I've got to just try to get something going here. And he did a couple of times. Even again, he wasn't necessarily knocking them down, but he was showing it, just trying to vary up his game a little bit. And then the Jordan Poole stuff, I mean, that was like that really sealed it when he hit that second one there in the third quarter. And then the fourth quarter, I think Udoka was like, hey, we came back in the fourth quarter of game one. Game two, it was like a burst, only about 6 points, and then he was like, all right, I think we're done here tonight. And he took the right move, I guess, and said, all right, let's rest these guys. But overall, I mean, the Warriors played better. They still didn't play great. It's ironic that both teams shot 15 for 37 from downtown, exactly the same amount. And in game one, it was Horford, Smart, and White who went 15 for 23 themselves. Only 2 for 7 combined for those three guys. Al Horford had a very weird game. He didn't even take a shot until the third quarter.
Yeah, it's because he had his birthday.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Never celebrate your birthday when you turn it in the 30s point. At some point.
But the weird thing is, again, between Smart, White, and Horford, they only got up 7 3-pointers. That to me is very unusual because I didn't expect them to go 15 for 23 again. But I would have thought that Udoka would have been like, all right, these guys, let's spread the floor out, move that ball. That's how they got all those open looks there in game one. Didn't really happen in game two. So
they kept turning the ball over.
Well, and they did, and they got punished for that 33 points off those turnovers for the Warriors. And I know that both of these teams have a tendency to turn the ball over. So if one can really capitalize on the other one, in a 19-point game, they had an 18-point positive differential in those points off turnovers compared to the Celtics. That's largely where the game, I think, was won there. So very, very impressive. I thought Kevon Looney was good again. He continues to just sort of be in the right spot at the right time. When that ball does move around, go to the hoop, Wiggins will find you, Steph Curry will find you, and he finishes strong around the rim because there wasn't like a standout second-best player, I didn't think, for the Warriors. I thought Poole had his moments, of course. Looney was okay. Draymond was better. Klay was okay. But none of them were like really, really good there. And then Steph, I mean, man, when he gets that half an inch of daylight, it's catch. Mm-hmm. It's catch. And it's great to watch. So overall, glad for the series. We've got a 1-1 here. Good bounce back here from the Warriors.
Who really set the tone for the Warriors, you thought, last night, Trey?
It was Draymond, no doubt about it. He had I don't know, you don't call it a steal because it's just a jump ball, but he forced the jump ball with Al Horford right away. And then, like Tass is saying, after that first possession, he was on Jaylen Brown. And outside of the first 3 minutes, really, it was really frustrating. Jaylen Brown, just the tighter defense, the more physical defense, and it led to the Warriors forcing 18 turnovers, which Lee mentioned, 33 points for the Warriors because they were mostly live ball turnovers. The Warriors' limited dribble penetration, that was a huge problem in game one, a huge part of the reason that Jaylen Brown was able to have such a big fourth quarter in game one. He was going right by Klay Thompson, either finishing inside or driving kick to somebody outside for a wide open three. So I thought the Warriors did a great job of having active hands. They were switching off ball, and they were just completely locked in. And it even filtered down to Curry. Like, Curry is playing incredible basketball right now. 63 points in 70 minutes in this series, 46 shots, 9 assists, just 4 turnovers. And in that third quarter, there's a couple of great plays where he's playing some really physical on-ball defense against Marcus Smart, forcing a turnover, forcing a miss, hitting back-to-back threes. Looney then scores, and then back-to-back threes for Poole as well. So you could tell between Draymond setting the tone early and Steph being as committed on defense as he was offensively, this was the perfect kind of game for the Warriors to really blow things open because, you know, it could have gone either way after the first half. It was very similar to game one, but in the third quarter, obviously the Warriors had the Celtics number. Celtics have had a number of bad third quarters in this playoffs. They just didn't have a good fourth to offset it in this one.
What do you think about the officiating overall? Because I know some Celtics fans are like, this game was way more physical than game one, mainly because Draymond setting the tone, barking at everybody, obviously getting into it, and we can get into whether or not he should have been even playing in the second half with the whole Jaylen Brown incident. But
yeah, we will.
Yeah, the idea that he was just the team, really, that they were allowed to be more physical because of the officiating. I know the Celtics talked a little bit about it after the game. Did it get in their heads? Were they just not ready to sort of fight back in this one because they thought the whistle was going to be similar to game one? What'd you think?
There were some bad whistles. There's no doubt.
Yeah, stopping the flow for sure.
Draymond stole some calls because he was flopping around. There was, bad whistles, definitely against the Celtics, but I don't think that's why they lost at all. That's all I got to say. I mean, that's really, I don't really want to get into it more. Obviously,
Jaylen Brown said that the game changed when he got his second foul. That was a bad call, no doubt about it. Gary Payton, the second on a fast break layup, he goes up for a lefty, he just misses it. And Jalen's like holding his arms back to not foul him, but that was the first quarter. Payton misses the layup. He missed the 2 free throws. Jalen didn't get pulled from the game, and he didn't foul for the rest of the game. So, yes, I mean, that was probably a frustrating play in the moment, but it's, there's 40 minutes left of basketball. You got to be able to recover. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it was in the Celtics' heads that they weren't going to be able to be as physical as the Warriors were being, but to me, it would be frustrating, but the refs were not the problem for the Celtics.
No, and bad call on that one, fair. But let's give Zach Zarba credit because he gave Jordan Poole. So excuse me, he gave Jordan Poole a tech foul in a play there where he ran over the top.
Derek White tried jumping over Jordan Poole.
Yes,
Poole
and he put his
sort of
hand
puts
up.
his arms
Yeah.
up, sort of trips him, whatever.
And he called a tech foul.
It stopped a fast break.
Yeah. But he went back and he said, no, that wasn't a tech foul.
Right.
I sort of missaw what I thought I saw. That almost, I don't remember a time where that has happened, where they've rescinded a tech foul in the moment like that. They almost never do because it's like a tech foul. So we've got to give him credit for that.
Okay.
Because that was the right call. There was nothing malicious from White, nothing malicious from Poole. Poole was literally like, whoop, is he going to kick me in the head? No. And they almost didn't touch each other. So some other calls, sure, bad. But let's also give them credit where it's due.
yes, and also he called him tech foul on Jordan Powell.
That's right.
I mean Jordan Poole. He corrected himself
right there. Yeah.
Way to go, Double Z.
Well, let's
Good
talk
job.
about Draymond, though, because early in the game, he picks up the technical foul, getting into it with Grant Williams. I mean, he somehow, if I remember correctly, Draymond Green trucked Grant Williams.
Yes.
And got the foul called on Grant
Yeah.
Williams. Okay, this is Draymond stuff here. And then is still getting into it with the officials. Gets a tech. Everybody's like, okay, can you shut up, Draymond? Gets that first technical. Of course, this comes into play later in the second quarter, right? Still, he fouls Jaylen Brown. Draymond does on a 3-pointer. It's a foul. The two get tangled up on the floor. You got Green's legs sort of on Brown's shoulders and heads. He doesn't like that. Stop that. Sort of get off me. Then, a little shove back from Draymond. Jaylen Brown steps up. Now he's sort of standing over Draymond. Draymond, he said after the game, I'm a man first before I'm a basketballer. Can't stand over me. And then anyway, there's a bunch of jostling. And then it's like, uh-oh. They're going to go look at it. And they're saying on the broadcast, and I don't think they're wrong, regular season game. This is the classic double tees. You guys are both guilty here of just doing nonsense. Okay, you both get a tee, but they don't. And some people are like, good. It shouldn't be a tee to begin with.
No.
But then there's this whole thing, and Draymond's even talking about it after the game. It's like, yeah, I already got one. They're unlikely going to give me a second one because I got one, and I'm Draymond Green. And I don't get favorable treatment, but I get favorable treatment. Is basically what he said.
Yes.
Really weird, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the whole thing and the decision, I guess, to not toss Draymond there because of the second time?
So I think they're both right. I think in that moment, the refs know we can't throw a guy out for this, but also Draymond pushes the envelope so far every time. At some point, he is going to get thrown out for something like that, and it's going to be his fault. As my man Chuck D said on Twitter there last night, how many times are you going to put your head in the lion's mouth before you realise the lion's going to bite you? Because that's what Draymond does, is he pushes it so far, he gets tangled up. Oh, whoops, my legs are in your face. Oh, I didn't do that. Oh, you're pushing me. What are you pushing me on? He's always the victim in that sense. So Draymond has to understand that he puts the refs in these positions multiple times in a game where it's like, is that a tech? I mean, we don't want to have to throw him out. But at the same time, the refs have to say, Draymond, cut that shit out, man.
Right.
You're going to get yourself thrown out for two probably unnecessary techs. But the refs, again, give them credit. In that moment, there was no way that he deserved to be thrown out. And they said, okay.
So you don't think either of them deserved any tech there?
No,
what was
of course
happening
not.
between
Of
Jaylen
course
Brown
not.
and
I mean,
Right.
and again, I understand people saying, well, if it's a tech, it's a tech. It shouldn't be the finals or regular season, whatever. But it should be different in that moment because the refs are actually, we always say they've got to sort of bring the level to a finals level and keep their composure. So they did the right thing. But Draymond, if you do get thrown out later in the series, fuck, man, it will be your fault for doing it because you continue to be...
Well, Trey has a theory, and he said it on the Immediate Reaction podcast last night, that Draymond goes and gets his first technical on purpose.
Makes him more powerful.
Yeah.
He can get away with more. The leash gets longer after he gets the
sort of
first
true.
technical.
Yeah.
My two takes on this that I have germinated over the night is that number one, I definitely missed Draymond almost pulling down Jaylen Brown's shorts.
Yeah, I saw Taz tweeting about it that time. Yeah, I sort of missed
that
it the
was
first
very
time, too.
funny. Also, I think the best take came from Joe Varden at The Athletic. Subscribe at theathletic.com/nodunks. Celtics shouldn't have stopped Jaylen Brown from getting in Draymond's face.
Yeah.
That de-escalated the situation. That was not a double technical situation in the playoffs, but if they keep going at each other, Draymond ain't backing down.
For sure.
That's how we could pick up the
For
second technical
sure.
easily. You flash back to 2016, Draymond's most famous missing of a game. When he stepped over LeBron, no call. That was post game, right? That he eventually got added the extra flagrant foul point, which eventually eliminated him for game 5, I suppose. So even in that, Draymond stepping over LeBron, that's a bigger deal to me. That's more of a skirmish, and nothing was called in that scenario.
Right.
So to expect this here in the finals, I think is kind of silly, but weird scenario. Like Draymond just kicking back, throwing his feet up on the ottoman, but the ottoman is Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Weird.
What do you think?
Well, the Celtics fans, they got nothing to complain about, really. Their team could barely hit 1 in 3 shots. They shot 35% from this in this game. That is where they lost the game.
Right.
And we all want the referees to call what they see. Well, they didn't give Draymond Green a leash on that first technical. And that's what everybody wants. If Draymond is barking at the officials, give him a tech. And that's what happened. He just started yelling at the refs. They gave him a tee. They teed him up and they said, all right, that's what's going to happen in this game. You can't talk to us. And then in the second instance, I really don't think he deserved a call at all. I don't think either of them really deserved anything. Because when you look at it, he fouled Jaylen Brown because Jaylen Brown kicked out his leg. Anyway, so they both go to the floor. Draymond Green falls down, and yes, his legs end up on Jaylen Brown's head. But I think they just ended up on his head. I think that's just what happened. So Jaylen Brown throws off those legs, and people say that Draymond shoved him afterwards. He said he put his hand, if you want to call that a shove, I mean, come on. He put his hand on Jaylen Brown to say, listen, I wasn't kicking your head. It was just a touch, and he said he was already seated. He put his hand on Jaylen Brown. He didn't get up. He put his hand on him and sat on his butt. It was Jaylen Brown who got up and sort of got in his face. So Draymond Green tried to pull his shorts to get up, and that was that. They talked. Maybe the Celtics should have allowed it to happen a little bit more, so he got tossed. That is a good point, but that is that. That's what happened. It was a chat. If you look at it frame by frame, he didn't do anything, and he shouldn't have been tossed for that. And yeah, the first tech wasn't something that officials hand out immediately to Draymond Green in the past. They allow him a leash to talk and talk and talk and talk. But when he trucked Grant Williams and still was talking to the referee, they gave him a tech. And so that one was fairly quick, I thought. And yeah, the second one, maybe the Celtics pulled him off number one because they don't want Jaylen Brown tossed, but they also want to beat the Warriors. I don't think they're looking at this thinking maybe they are. Hey, let's get Draymond Green tossed, but I think they want to beat the full Warriors. And I'm sure they weren't thinking that in the moment. I'm sure they were thinking we don't want Jaylen Brown tossed. But again, they lost this game because they shot 35% from the floor. That had nothing to do with the officiating. But Draymond Green was a beast in this game, and he had led the more fierce team. And I'm glad he didn't get tossed in that instance.
Here's a question for you to go back to Klay. Can the Warriors win 3 more games against the Celtics with Klay shooting like this? I mean, 4-19 in game 2. You said Kerr decided, just keep him out here basically in garbage time. See if we can get him going at all. I don't think he really got going all that much.
No.
He's shooting 30% from the field in the final. But I asked that because, every Warriors championship team has been Curry. He is the common factor in all of those titles. But then there's always a second guy, be it Kevin Durant, be it Klay, that is like a go-to, don't worry, he's our secondary scorer. And right now, with him struggling, they don't really have that. Poole got it going a little bit here. He hitting those 2 bombs there. But can they do it without Klay, or just Klay? And are you even worried that Klay can't ever find, classic Klay from a game or 2 at least in the series prior? What do you think?
Yeah, well, that's it. I'm not worried because he's had 2 8 3-point games so far, basically in closeout games. So get to game 6, the Warriors. If they're up 3-2, then Clay's going to have a 45-point game. But certainly it is a concern because he's not just missing these shots. For someone of his standards of shooting, he's clunking a lot of those. So maybe the layoff didn't help him from the Maverick series. Maybe he needed to keep playing. Who knows? But we've also seen him at times against the Mavericks. He went 6 for 18 in one game there. He went 6 for 20 against the Memphis Grizzlies. So he is a little bit sort of feast and famine-y right now, but they can survive if someone else is sort of filling in the void a little bit there, and Jordan Poole offensively gave it to him last night. Wiggins hasn't really sort of established himself too much, so there are points there. But as you saw on the broadcast where he did hit that 3 last night, it only can sometimes maybe take one, and then Klay's like, you can see a little avalanche coming himself. So
he finally hit a 3 and he did like a double fist pump.
Get him going for
and he was like cheesing hard to the camera. But
because he is such a great shooter, he's going to get basically as many chances as he needs to get going. Because
you don't see a game in this series where it's a tight game and Kerr goes away from Klay, taking him off the floor in a close game for a Gary Payton or something like that, and he could still be out there, or like a Poole. You're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt every single time that he'll get going.
Just for the gravity alone.
That's true.
Because it's like, okay, you're
not leaving him open.
You're going to say to the Celtics, all right, are you going to leave Klay and double Jordan Poole? Let's say Jordan Poole's had 7 threes in a game. You're going to double him and leave Klay? Great, go and do that.
Yeah.
He's proven, he's done it so many times. He's a huge playoff performer. He'll get as many chances as they need from him.
He's doing too much right now. Klay is over dribbling the ball. They're like posting him up to try and attack Peyton Pritchard just because Peyton Pritchard's the smallest guy out there. Just catch and shoot. Like, the best Klay Thompson games are when he touches the ball 40 times for 40 seconds and makes 40 threes. Just stand outside and shoot some threes. See the ball go through a few times. The post-ups are weird to me. Like, the best offense that the Warriors had last night, just Steph. Just go out there. Steph makes some plays. You don't see it from Steve Kerr often saying, just go play pick and roll basketball.
Yeah.
Other than that, they got to move the ball. They are, a ball movement team, drive and kick, ball switching sides. Everybody kind of is actually moving as well as the ball. It short circuits the offense when Klay goes into post-up mode, and obviously he doesn't have the explosion inside right now to be finishing at the rim or to really even be shooting these fadeaways over Pritchard. So I'd like to see him just get going on some catch and shoots.
I think there could be instances where they choose Gary Payton II over Klay Thompson with the way things are working, because Gary Payton II played 25 minutes in this game, nearing Klay Thompson's 30 minutes, and Klay was playing garbage time to try and get him going.
Yeah.
And with the way Steph is playing on offense, you just need guys who are going to turn the Celtics over and play incredible defense, really. So if you've got Payton and Draymond Green and Andrew Wiggins and whoever the fifth guy is around Curry, that could be enough to really get the Warriors going. And Gary Payton II is doing enough as sort of a, he's their Bruce Brown. He plays on the short roll. He's kind of like their big man, and then he'll go in the corner. And I know they told him to be able to shoot in the corner and be able to shoot the rim. I mean, he was 3 of 3 in this game. You could see him getting some more buckets. Andrew Wiggins, obviously not a great night, but he missed layup after layup after layup. He scored 11. If he hits a friggin' layup, he's got a 17-18, the classic Wiggins game. So I think they have enough offense with Gary Payton II coming in, especially with the way Otto Porter's feeling it at times, and Jordan Poole. That's a great sign that Jordan Poole started going, because that was his first good stretch, really, of this series.
First good quarter there in the third quarter of the finals so far. Celtics in the playoffs 6-0 following a loss. So we'll find out what happens on Wednesday night. Even more impressive, 3 of those wins are like by 20-plus points. So they usually have an answer here. They have a response every single time. Though I'm concerned, if I'm being completely honest, with obviously the health of Robert Williams III.
Yeah.
He looks bad out there. I mean, he's given it his all. I mean, he still had a couple nice challenges at the rim, but he only ended up playing, 14 or 15 minutes. And I think you just see him, like, when he is put onto a smaller guard, he just does not have any lateral quickness because of the knee injury. And then Marcus Smart just had a stinker too, and he's injured as well, and then injured even Robert Williams even more when he accidentally fell into him. Like, these two guys, it's going to be really difficult for them to win 3 more games with these guys really banged up. Smart 1 for 6. I thought making terrible decisions in the first quarter too. Like, he was a part of those live ball turnovers, just passes that weren't there. But we'll see if they can counter here in Game 3.
They haven't won their last 2 Game 3s, though, so is that a good thing or a bad thing? Maybe it means absolutely nothing. I think Marcus Smart certainly didn't seem to have that same juice that he had in Game 1. He was right up for that game, and this one he was like just nowhere near as aggressive. So I don't think he was injured. I think he was just like, maybe it's that, hey, we got the split mentality anyway, but then they got off to a really good start. So
they're in this game.
Yeah,
they should have been up more.
Yeah, they should have been.
If they would have taken taking care of the ball a little bit better in the first half, I think the Celtics have a decent lead heading into that. Now, they may have given it all away in the third quarter because they don't play great in the third quarter. The Warriors are unbelievable in that quarter, but would have been more of a game. That's one thing we said. Watch the turnovers. Like, the Celtics win games when they take care of the ball and generally lose them when they keep confident up. And a lot of these were live ball.
Yeah, they had 11 turnovers in that first half, but they were still only, within 2 points there. A more traditional just 7 in that second half, where that's a regular number for a team. That's their average, basically. If you double it up for 14 throughout the entirety of a game. You could say the Celtics could have been up more, but you could also say the Warriors could have been up a ton if they hit some freaking layups in that first half. But Marcus Smart was defended in this game. they were all up in his grill. They were just ready to not allow open threes. Al Horford, I was surprised that he had no open threes really in this game. I think he should have been out there, ready to fire a little bit more. I think when he has a big game, as we talked about the flex game versus Giannis Antetokounmpo, came out and had a stinker the next night, stinker the next 3. I guess you can't expect big games from him night in and night out. But you'd think that one of those 3 would step up in Derek White, Marcus Smart, and Al Horford. But again, when Smart's being defended, he's not really going to go off. I don't think the same way. So that was the Warriors stepping up, and I think a little blessing that Andre Iguodala was out.
I agree.
The 38-year-old does not need to play in the series. I don't think he can coach. But Gary Payton II is just such a menace, and they just know what they're doing on the defensive end. Gary Payton II worked out the kinks. He was scared. I think he had a flashback when he was going up for the layup, and Jaylen Brown was behind him. He had a flashback of Dylan Brooks hitting him, I'm sure, and he was trying to protect his body a little bit. He fell, missed both free throws, was kind of slow on rotations to start, but then I think he worked out the kinks. There's that possession where he falls and Draymond Green recovers for him, and Gary Payton goes up to Draymond Green to say, yes, we are playing freaking finals defense. So they got to be jacked. But yes, the Celtics are good enough to come back and not miss a billion shots, and also, not turn it over, because, they lacked the flow because of those turnovers, for sure.
Finals MVP update after 2 games. How you ranking it? 1, 2, 3 right now after 2.
Well, so I saw you gave out the 3, 2, and 1 votes.
Yeah, it was difficult last night.
It was
in the Brownlow medal voting.
Yeah, I love it.
We ultimately went with Trey. Do you remember?
Curry, Poole, Tatum.
Yeah.
We got guilted into it, Tatum.
I wanted to give it to Zach
quite
Zarba
honest.
in the end.
No Dre.
Draymond?
Yeah.
I mean, sure. You could really convince me of anyone for the third
Draymond,
spot.
Looney, and Gary Payton II were all up for that third
Tatum.
spot.
Tatum. You got me saying Tatum now.
I would have gone Tatum and then Tatum hole for Draymond Green. I think he should have been the 2 hole.
Well, I mean, Tatum hit 6 threes.
Yeah,
but he was a minus whatever.
Minus
But I don't think that was all because of him. That's where that is a funny stat.
But it was a blowout, though.
I know.
So tough to get a Brownlow vote when you
Too
get
many
smoked.
Beantown boys in the stream last night.
Yeah, we got persuaded.
Yeah.
Okay, but don't worry about last night's game. Overall, right now, Curry, or you tell me, who's 1, 2, 3 right now?
Well, I think Curry, obviously, as a 1-1. Man, who's number 2? I mean, Tatum didn't do that much in game 1, did he? Brown was good.
It's a little strange.
Wow, it is. Yeah. I guess Al Horford did nothing last night.
Yeah.
I guess Jaylen Brown is leading the Celtics.
Yeah, that was
Over 2 games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
even though he
probably.
was shot poorly.
Yeah. And then, wow. Wow. I mean, because, the Warriors don't get any real credit for that game 1, I mean, other than Steph. So I guess, Steph, Brown, then probably Tatum, I suppose.
What about Mark Jones? He's played 2 games on the call. He's been all right. I've enjoyed him on the call. I don't know when Bree's coming back. Yeah, it's tough. Difficult.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting at is Curry's to lose if the Warriors, of course, go on to win. And then very fascinating if the Celtics, can pull off this finals upset. Who would be winning it for them? But lots of basketball still to be played.
Lots of basketball still to be played. But history says Game 3, quite important.
Oh,
this is the 40th
pivotal?
time. 40th time the teams have split the first 2 games of the NBA Finals. In the previous 39 instances, the team that wins Game 3 has gone on to win 82% of the time, 32-7.
Wow.
in those
That's
39
big.
series.
Well, there's a douchey on deck here for the Warriors, isn't there?
Douchey on deck.
DOD.
You guys still heading to Boston?
Double deck.
Yes, we are.
You'll be in the building.
Yes, we'll be in the building.
In the
Hopefully on the
garden.
court, in the garden.
Okay.
No, well, not
Game
on the court.
3,
but,
yes. Trey
yeah.
and Leigh heading tomorrow to Boston for games 3 and 4, so I can't wait to check in with you guys
Yes.
on the podcast and get the sights and sounds
Yes.
from the game.
Yes.
Any other random notes from game 2 or this final so far? Got anything?
Still want to see Bullet Train, man.
Oh, yeah, that's
you guys
good.
in on Bullet Train?
So what is it? It's a movie.
I don't know. It looks like Brad Pitt on a
Yeah.
train, just fighting. Fighting people.
Probably bullets.
And
Yeah,
there's Lillard
a fast
and
train.
Lonzo and...
I don't think they're in it. I think they're just doing
That's just the
spots.
promo, is
Yeah.
it? Okay. Because Damian Lillard was out in Melbourne this weekend for a big boxing
Yeah,
match. He was
they're
at an Australian
tiny.
football game and everything.
Really?
So, yeah. Yeah, so they must have shot this stuff in advance.
That's how they do
I
it.
thought it was live.
They went live to the train.
Yeah, I don't quite know what it is other than a movie promo, but it seems like we've already had Keanu Reeves. Didn't the Speed 2 was on a train, wasn't it? No, that was on a boat.
Speed 2 was
That's
on
a
a
boat.
boat. Speed
Yeah.
1 was on a bus.
Yeah. So maybe
The
this
spiritual
is... Yeah.
successor to Speed.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should feel bad, but I have no idea what you guys are talking about. 'cause I don't see commercials.
Oh, it's commercial. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like on one hand I feel left out. On the other hand,
You're not missing
I'm not
anything.
No,
missing
you're
out
not.
on commercials. I'm watching the in-house feed. I'm
wow.
watching jersey giveaways on the NBA app.
Wow.
On Apple TV.
It's like, why are we even sending them to Boston? You can just be watching this feed instead. It's like
Yeah.
you're there, right? That's what you're doing. You're
Oh,
basically
like
there in
you're
the
there.
Bay.
Sure.
Yeah, you're watching,
Well, Lee wants to shoot her out on the court.
Well, I know why he wants to. Yeah, for sure.
Man, we got to hook up with Chiefs. As Chiefs was on the court, remember, shooting free throws and stuff. Maybe
Getting
he's got to hook up.
buckets?
Yeah, Chiefs, hit us up.
Who's going to be the singing the national anthem for Game 3 in Boston? Or who are you hoping for?
Wahlberg's a Boston boy, isn't he?
You think one of the Wahlbergs is going to be
Mark,
singing
funky,
the national anthem in Game 3? I'll
what's-
bet you on that.
Oh, see, can you see? Feel it, feel it.
Yeah.
Come on, come on.
It's not bad.
It's such a good anthem.
Okay, so you want one of the Wahlbergs. You don't care
Yes.
which one, eh?
Yeah. I get them confused, Donnie and Mark.
Which one's the burger guy?
Yeah.
I think they're in on that one together.
Yeah.
We got to go to a Wahlburgers.
Yeah, you do.
I was looking up the best Boston baked beans in Boston. It's hard to find, though. Hard to find a straight up beans location.
Surprising.
So slide in the DMs. Let us know where the best baked beans are in all of Boston.
Yeah, what's there one thing you're hoping to do besides him shooting around on the court? Trey, is there like
Get a green hat. Get a large green hat, I would say, is my number one goal here.
All right.
In Boston, and sit next to Red Auerbach.
the statue?
Yeah, sit by that statue.
Oh, don't do what that one Heat fan did. Did you see that making the
Do a
rounds?
poopy?
No, the Heat fan was like, I don't know if there's a name for this move, but basically the upside down twerking, where like you do the handstand and
Leigh will
like,
do
put
that.
the legs on the statue. I saw this photo going around, and like the Beantown boys were very upset, like the disrespect that
That's
he had
disrespectful to Red.
to a statue.
Twerking. Yeah, come on.
He may have liked it.
I don't. Red didn't even want cheerleaders. They didn't even have cheerleaders in
Good
Boston
point.
until Red
Damn.
passed away. So
Damn, good point.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And anything else you want to do? What about the what's the sandwich? What's the amazing sandwich?
Lobster roll?
Lobster roll.
Oh,
Really.
yeah.
Neptune.
Yeah.
You should go grab one of those.
Yeah, that'll cost, I'm sure, $113 for a lobster roll this big. They're always super expensive, lobster rolls.
Fine, I'll eat them.
You want to go?
I'll eat it.
You want to go back to Red Auerbach's time where they handed them out in prison?
We
That was cheap then.
went to a really good seafood joint there in Boston. Remember anyone remember what that was called?
Neptunes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, good memory. All right, Neptunes.
Yeah, you paid $113.
It's like $20
for your sandwich. Yeah, I know. I don't know what you're
Like
talking
$23
about.
there
They're
as a sandwich.
You're going to catch it that day.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Fresh.
Yeah.
I catch it.
You're going to make a living.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Did you see CeeLo Green doing the anthem there?
In green.
He was halftime.
In green in Boston, or he had the green thing on.
Famous
Interesting.
Green.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting for.
I just want to know how you spell CeeLo. I've seen it spelled so many ways.
CEE-LO.
So I've seen that way, seen a space between the C and the Lo, and then I've seen them jammed together with a capital L. And I just want to know which one. Also, CeeLo Green
question.
is back. I mean, he was gone for a while.
Yeah, I'm surprised they went with CeeLo Green. They usually go Carlos Santana for
Bay.
Warriors anthems.
Yeah, with
Maybe
the
they're saving him.
with the cool drummer.
Yeah,
Is that his
exactly
wife?
right.
Is that his wife? Or is that?
That I uncertain.
But you know who I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Okay. That's probably a good time to take a break.
I thought it
right,
was
Leah?
CEE dash capital
It
L.
sort of depends.
O.
Yeah,
Oh, that's what he
it's-
said, I thought.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's what Trey said.
Yeah.
I thought it was C dash.
No, definitely CEE. Yeah.
All right, he's got it CEE capital LO on his Twitter.
I know, but you see it. I'm telling you,
Lose
see
the
it spelled
dash.
all different ways.
It's not good
I'm
for.
going with CeeLo here. He's got it.
You gotta lose a
You would
dash.
know.
In the modern day, you gotta lose a dash. No, you can't search a dash.
All right. There's no dash in Goody Mob. I know that. Okay, let's take our first break. When we come back, let's talk Quin Snyder leaving the Utah Jazz. Don't go anywhere.
Here are a list of my 5 favorite Macs. Number 5, Big Mac. Number 1 combo, that's all you need. Number 4, Mac Airs. That man can sing. Number 3, trucks.
Oh, yeah.
Just like a Mac truck.
Mac truck, very
Love
big.
Yeah, love me a long hauler. Number 2, Craig. And number 1,
Yeah.
Mac Weldon. Mac Weldon makes all your basics for your wardrobe, but it is absolutely quality clothing. Their track pants are a nice slim fit that don't look like track pants. I feel like I'm J.E. Skeets around wearing my Slims around town. You love your little slim track pants.
I mean, I'm slim, man. So
no, I know, but you
love your
like your
Slims.
slim track pants. That's your thing.
fit track pants, yes.
Fit, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Slim,
What do you
yeah.
call them? Slim? Sure.
Sure. It's your go-to. Anyway, a lot of companies say their clothes are multi-use. You can wear them business, pleasure. Take them to work, take them to the bar. But these ones are definitely that because they have to have good quality stuff to be able to do that. A high standard to pull that off. And Mac Weldon does that. Same with their shorts. I've been wearing their Ace sweat short. Although they might be a tad long. Danielle said, you look a little short. No pun intended in them because they are a little long. They go to the knee. Maybe I have to move to their what's the one you wear? The look up from your computer and tell me what you wear.
My shirts.
No, shorts.
My shorts. Well, which ones? I mean, I've got so
Mac Weldon I'm talking about.
What are they called?
Yeah. Anyway.
Doesn't know.
Yeah, we're talking.
Oh, well, then I'm sure where you're going there. You're talking about Big Macs, Mac trucks.
Well, I mean, keep your head up, man. Stop
You
surfing
said Big Mac
the
and
internet.
Lee was like, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you watching?
Yeah, it's
The Tech Chino shirt.
Yeah.
that's the one.
Tech Chino short.
No,
That's the
mine's
one.
the Maverick, isn't it?
No. Anyways,
Well,
I've
it's the
been,
Maverick Tech Chino short.
there you go,
yeah,
Full name.
Anyways,
No
I've been
gimmicks.
wearing my Mac Weldon swim trunks to the pool as well. Again, quality, not falling off.
How many shorts did
Fitting
you get?
right.
This is crazy.
2 of 2. I didn't get the Maverick Tech Chino short because they're too long. The name is too long. The short is fine. Anyways, check out their board shorts and swim trunks. A combo of performance stretch and a slick design. They do it all. Get in the pool. Anyways, check out Mac Weldon for yourself and save 20% off your first order. Visit macweldon.com/nodunks and enter promo code NODUNKS. Again, macweldon.com/nodunks and enter promo code NODUNKS for 20% off. Stock up on the warm weather essentials you've been missing.
You've never seen Mac and Me, eh? The movie, 88? Classic kids
Yeah,
movie.
it's a classic
Piece
kids.
of crap, but hilarious.
Didn't make the list.
Yeah,
No.
I was
It was number
upset not seeing Mac make it there.
Who's Mac?
Mac?
Yeah,
I
in the,
think
in
it's
the
the
Mac
alien.
video.
If I'm back.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought robot, but yes. When you said Mac Air, I thought you meant like...
Mac and
Bears.
Me is the classic.
Oh, yeah, I do like Macs.
JD, help me out. What's the guy's name that always
Paul
comes
Rudd.
on? Yeah,
Paul
Paul
Rudd.
Rudd always plays the
Don Conan.
clip of the kid in the wheelchair falling into the water. He always pretends
He's
it's
in
going to
Mac
be
and
his
Me?
movie. No.
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 That's just a bit.
Weird bit that he does.
It's a great bit, actually.
Yeah. All right,
Anyways.
sorry, you're up.
Any basketball fans at the table?
I like basketball.
There's one.
Sure.
Two.
Yep.
2 or 3, great. Because with Sling TV, you can get every playoff game for the best price, hands down. All for just $35 a month. You'll get all the upsets, the comebacks, buzzer beaters, oops, game 7s, foul outs, tip-offs, crossovers, tech fouls, ejections, dynasty rivalries. You get and 1s, 3s, and if you're lucky, you get a triple-double or a VSP. Yeah, there's a lot to love about playoff basketball, and you can get it all with Sling for the best price. But there's still more to watch, so just because the season's over doesn't mean you're out for TV. Sling has all your favorite live sports, news, and popular TV shows on channels like ESPN, Tint, Tibus, ESPN, TNT, TBS, MSNBC, CNN, and more. Sling is easy to set up and easy to use. You can stream on any device and record up to 50 hours with included DVR space. And one more time, did I mention you can watch every playoff basketball game for the best price with Sling? We might have 5 to go here, so you want to get in now. Check out sling.com for special offers. Sling, the live TV you'll love for a price you'll love. Try us today, and you'll be slinging when you're winning.
Nice.
We'll be slinging when we're winning. Nice. They should sing the national anthem.
Oh, yeah.
In Boston.
Yeah.
Chumbawamba.
Yeah.
Why not? How would you pronounce MSNBC?
Misnbsk.
Nailed it, I think.
All right, back here in the Classic Factory with the boys. Got some big news dropping on Sunday in the NBA. Quin Snyder's time as head coach of the Utah Jazz, it's over. Shortly after Woj reported the news there on Sunday afternoon, the Jazz formally announced that after 8 seasons, Snyder would be stepping down. So lots to talk about with this. First one is, like, how surprised were you by, ultimately, I guess, Snyder's decision here to walk away?
Not all that surprised that Snyder is no longer the coach. How we got to this point and whose idea it was, I'm not sure. I think because the Jazz said, hey, we can extend your contract if you want, or if you want, you can take some time off. So it felt like to me the Jazz were trying to be respectable for what Quin Snyder has done for the franchise, and he's been a very successful coach, certainly in the regular season, getting to the playoffs. But the big problem has always been taking that next step in the playoffs. They've had a couple of meltdowns, a couple of bad performances against the Rockets one time. Down in the bubble, of course, they gave up a 3-1 lead, and then last year they gave up 2-0 lead there to the LA Clippers. And it just felt like it was time for one of Donovan Mitchell or Rudy Gobert to move on. And I think going with the coaching side of things, Snyder things, is probably the easiest and first thing that the Jazz could do, because you don't want to give away your talent. You certainly don't. I mean, if you're going to trade one of Mitchell or Rudy Gobert, you want a big package in return. These are all NBA all-star caliber players. So I think ultimately they all sat around, and Danny Ainge has come in and sort of said, maybe it's time for a new voice, but Quin, how are you feeling? Do you want to change? Do you want to take some time off here? Probably sort of helping him make that decision, I think. So I think, look, if Quin Snyder's going to get another job whenever he decides to continue coaching, whether he takes a year or 2 off, he'll get another job without any real problems there. And for the Jazz, I think they just decided, listen, let's start with a new coach, and then we'll decide what we do going forward with the star players.
Was anyone surprised at all that Snyder, after I guess they gave him a contract extension to possibly sign, he was uncommitted, and so he's moving on? Says they need a new voice. That's what he's saying about Utah Jazz.
I think he's got his temperature of the room pretty accurate. 8 years is a long time as an NBA coach these days. It's very long. He couldn't pull off what Jerry Sloan pulled off in Utah, but not many coaches can. So I think, it's time. I think he was, he took everything into account. He took the way his voice is being heard, not being heard as well as it was in past years. Probably his physical ailment, just had some hip surgery. And just the way the NBA goes. 8 years again, I think it's probably the right decision for all involved. It sounds like they actually talked about it and worked it out, and it wasn't just like a rash decision.
What do you think?
I would say I'm a little bit more medium surprised than these guys, just because you don't hear a coach pull the "it's not you, it's me" very often in the NBA. But there's been a lot of buzz about Quin Snyder potentially leaving the Jazz. The surprising thing to me is that there's nowhere really for him to go right now. Like you guys talked about on the show last week, he's not going to be in a rebuilding situation. Like, he's been in the NBA for a long time, had a lot of regular season success. The next key is trying to win a championship, but I guess you'd rather take a year off, probably rehab a hip replacement, and then come back to somewhere that is just not the Jazz, because it seemed like a very stressful situation there at the end. I kind of wonder if he's just waiting out Greg Popovich to see how long he's going to be coaching the Spurs, and then he will slide in there. I think he used to coach their G League team back in the day. Seems to be a guy who prefers to create a program rather than just like bringing in different star level players, and that's what they're going to do in San Antonio as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up at San Antonio by the beginning of next season, by the beginning of the season after that, basically whenever Greg decides to hang it up.
Well, Woj also reported that Donovan Mitchell is surprised and disappointed by this news that Snyder is moving on. Mitchell, this is from Woj, considered Snyder a significant part of his reasoning for committing to a 5-year maximum contract extension in 2020. And then now Snyder's decision to step away on Sunday has left him, again, surprised and disappointed. He's unnerved. So I want to ask it this way. How confident are you that Donovan Mitchell is playing for the Utah Jazz next season after you hear these type of reports?
Well, in the words of Bruce Buffer, it's time for Donovan Mitchell to move on. I think it's happening. I think he's laying the groundwork to leave.
You think so?
Yes. So a coach moves on.
Yep.
Immediately, Mitchell's camp talks to a very, very, very well-respected reporter and says, I'm not feeling good. Why? Those, there's no coincidence, obviously. I think he's laying a groundwork to say, I don't want to be here. These are two very different scenarios, Snyder and Mitchell. Snyder's doing what's best for himself, I think, and so is Donovan Mitchell. And Mitchell should not be surprised that a coach is moving on from 8 seasons as the head coach when there wasn't a ton of playoff success, and he shouldn't be surprised that he's playing for more than one coach in his career, because that is absolutely common. So I guess that guy that I talked to at the California Pizza Kitchen that thought Donovan Mitchell was coming to the Atlanta Hawks may be right. I think the packages are out there, and there's got to be somebody looking for a superstar. Yeah, it's in kind of a gray area. Is Donovan Mitchell a superstar? Anyways, on that cusp of being a superstar, I think this is it for Donovan Mitchell. It sure feels like he's on his way out.
Do you agree with that?
No, I don't think so. I think when you get that new coach, that's going to be who then Donovan Mitchell might be like, okay, we've got a veteran, someone with a proven track record. Okay, maybe I stick it around here. But
so maybe this report from Woj from Mitchell's camp is, hey, I better be involved in picking the new coach. And less, like Cass saying, not that I disagree, more like, well, here's my good reason to get out of here now. Trade me.
But
my guy's gone.
It would be silly for him to ask for a trade until he knows who that coach is. So, I mean, if you're the Jazz and you're Danny Ainge is probably going to say, hey, this is who we're thinking. I don't think he's going to say, hey, Donovan, are you okay with this guy? That's not the way Danny Ainge works. So who is that guy, though? Who is that coach who can take this very good team, very good on both ends of the floor, good, consistent team, star players? The problem with Snyder, he just hasn't been able to get them where we expected them to be, which is like contending for a championship. They've always come up short. I don't know who that guy is.
So if you think Mitchell is more likely to be in a Utah Jazz uniform next season, then I assume that you think Gobert won't be? Do you think they're both going to be there with a new coach?
It depends on who that coach is.
Why?
It really does. Because I think that new coach is going to come in and say, okay, I want to see if I can get the most out of these guys. I want them to try to work together. Again, because if a coach comes into any situation, you want star talent. And you've got 2 guys who are all-stars, Defensive Player of the Year candidate in Rudy every year. They're young, they're under contract. That's a situation you want to go to, where you're like, okay, I know things didn't work, but I don't want to go in and say, all right, just boot that guy before I've had a chance to even work with them.
Yeah, I'm just skeptical that a new coach is going to come in here, be it Terry Stotts or some assistant coach with maybe new ideas, is going to unlock something with this Mitchell-Gobert pairing that Snyder couldn't in how many years? Like
there's just been
6,
a lot
7 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like it's a long time. This isn't a 1-year attempt, and then it's like, okay, give me another year. Let's try something else.
But I just think the coach is going to want to at least have that chance first. And again, if you're going to trade one of them, you want to make sure that the guy being traded isn't the guy who's on your team, the best player being traded. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be like, oh man, I thought they could have done better if they operated this way or that way, because a new coach is going to come in and say, let me try my ideas first.
Right. What do you think, Trey? Is Donovan Mitchell, especially with these Woj reports, is he setting the table like Tass is saying to make his way out of here?
Surprised and disappointed to me definitely feels a little bit like a test balloon for an official trade request, but we've seen both of the past 2 seasons, James Harden at the end of his tenure in Houston, Ben Simmons at the end of his tenure in Philadelphia. Teams are getting a little bit more bold starting with an unhappy star on their team and then figuring out a way to trade him during the middle of the season. So I can definitely see a world where the Jazz try that with Donovan Mitchell, or like you're saying, Skeets, trade Gobert and let Mitchell pick the coach. That's a good way to keep him around. That seems like a very player-focused move, and Gobert is going to be 30 at the beginning of next season on a gigantic contract. So if you want to rebuild around a younger guy with higher star potential, it's definitely Mitchell. So I don't think it's a done deal that he's gone, but it certainly wouldn't be a surprise if he actually does agitate for a trade come the summer.
Let's talk hypothetical Donovan Mitchell trade packages, especially one that's been making the rounds for a long time. Should the Miami Heat go all in trying to acquire Donovan Mitchell? And would the Jazz be open to trading Mitchell for something like Tyler Hero, Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, maybe a PJ Tucker or a Yurt 7 or something like that, and then a late pick in this year's draft, first round pick, be like 27th, and future picks, 2024 first round pick, 2027 first round pick, some sort of deal like that. Future picks, this year's pick, even though it's late, and Tyler Hero being the main piece. What do you think from both sides?
Yeah.
Would the
Basically,
Heat go
the
all
deal
in on
is-
something like that, and would the Jazz want something like that?
Basically, the deal is Mitchell for Hero and picks. The other guys are all just throw-ins. So that if the Jazz want the picks, then there's something to talk about there because you get the young player in Hero with the star potential. You would need a minimum 2 first-rounders coming back from the Heat. And you would want pretty much 0 protection on those. I mean, the Heat wouldn't give them up without probably a top 3 protection. But you would need more, I think, if you're the Jazz right now. I think that's...
So you're hoping to get a better player.
I think so.
Tyler Hero,
I think so, yeah.
if you are trading Mitchell.
Yeah, but now, look, if they say, okay, that's great, the first picks, then I think they're all first-round picks. I think they're also then going to say, we're going to move on from Rudy and start again as well.
Right.
Because
Just
you're going to need...
complete blow it up.
Young talent, let's start again and really try to cash in.
It's not really the Utah Jazz's MO.
No,
you know,
exactly.
Like to
No.
like lean into a complete rebuild. Like they want to be a playoff team.
But I think based on what you just said then, that scenario, that's it would tell me the Jazz are looking to the future rather than the present. So I don't think they do that move.
What do you think?
Well, I think they'd be looking for a young star plus a juicy draft pick, not a late first-round draft pick. Does Tyler Hero fit that definition of a young star? I think if you're looking around the league, probably. And if we're looking at right now, who would be willing to trade back a star? I think that's probably the best you're going to get. You'd have to get definitely a good pick to go along with that.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, who are the other teams that could realistically trade for him? I mean, the Knicks are always linked, but who are they trading that's, like, better than Tyler Hero? It's
RJ Barrett would be the best.
RJ Barrett, okay, I was considering they wouldn't trade him, but
yeah.
Sure. But otherwise, it's like Fournier's contract, okay, put Fournier back with Gobert, get the French team going. It's like quickly Toppin. They have picks because they have the Mavericks first-round pick, too. There's picks, but, I mean, I don't... Like, who? Cam Reddish? I mean, no one I'm naming is better than Tyler Hero, and even if he didn't look all that great in the conference finals.
I think, you can sell yourself on Tyler Hero.
And as for the Hawks, who is it? John Collins?
Bogdan Bogdanovic has been rumored, but I think you'd...
Double Bogdanovic.
Wow.
They got to make that happen.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I think if all the names we're throwing out here, it sure feels like Tyler Hero is the one that you'd be willing to pull the trigger on. I just feel like this is a pretty good opportunity for the Jazz to blow it up. I know it's easy to say that.
You mean both? Like really move off of Gobert and...
Potentially. Wow. Rudy Gobert's 30, as Trey said. I just don't think the biggest reason is I don't think Donovan Mitchell is long for Utah. I don't think he's going to stick around there. There's been so much smoke for years and years and years pre-pandemic that these two guys don't get along, and it feels like at some point it has to be done. So what's the trade package coming back? I think it's Tyler Hero. In this instance that we're talking about is the best option, but it has to be a really good pick too. I don't think they're pulling it off for Tyler Hero on a number 25. If they want to rebuild, if they're trading Donovan Mitchell, they're rebuilding, and so they would want a good pick.
Finally, who do you think is going to replace Quin Snyder? Who do you think should? Does anybody have a thought? I mean, we have initial candidates. I think Shams was reporting Knicks assistant Johnny Bryant, Jazz assistant Alex Jensen, former Blazers coach Terry Stotts, Celtics assistant Will Hardy, Raptors assistant Adrian Griffin. There's a few other names floating around out there. Any of them? I mean, these are like assistant coaches. It's tough to have really any idea of what they're going to be bringing.
Exactly, yeah.
But what direction do you think the Jazz go?
I honestly have no idea for this one because they had Jerry Sloan forever, and then Ty Corbin came in for a while. He was basically promoted, and then Snyder was given a really good opportunity, but that was his first opportunity as a head coach, same with Ty Corbin. So I think they probably want someone who's a bit younger with some fresh ideas, which maybe excludes Terry Stotts because that's kind of where they've gone. And they tend to sort of, you said there was a Jazz assistant in there?
Alex Jensen.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do sort of go internally as someone like that because they like to keep things very steady and very stable there. And if he's been there for a while and familiar with the program, he may have the inside lane there.
We'll see.
But I have no idea.
Yeah,
to be
I
honest.
mean, this is tough.
This is a huge question mark for the Jazz, too, because they've been a family-owned business for a long, long time, and now they've got venture capital money. They've got Danny Ainge in the front office. They've got Dwayne Wade as a part of their ownership group now. So the things that have been true about the Jazz for the past 30 years may not be true for the Jazz this offseason.
I agree. I think things could be changing in Utah. It sure feels like that from the top down, and maybe Trader Danny wants to make some trades. Unlike what he did in Boston, where he sat on it, and now he wants to
Can't wait to hear the offers.
get a little wheelie and dealie.
yeah.
I mean, Justin Zanuck is also the GM, and Danny Ainge is his advisor.
Right.
But if I don't know. Maybe I've got the Donovan Mitchell vibes that he wants to be out, and that they want to move in another direction and away from the steady Freddy, family-owned, keeping it internal. Feels different right now.
It is difficult to imagine Danny Ainge and Pat Riley coming to an agreement on a deal for Mitchell and Tyler Hero if those are the main pieces. I'm sure they would talk a lot, but they would both want to obviously win the trade, and you could see that maybe stalling out. And who knows? Maybe you're right, Tass. It feels like Mitchell doesn't want to be there, but maybe he just doesn't want Rudy Gobert there anymore.
Possibly.
That's the real truth, and that they're more likely to move him. They're going to be. I would be shocked if both of those guys are still there, no matter who the coach is. But we'll see. JD really wants to get to tweet of the night, so let's take our final break, and when we come back, we will do just that. But I am pumped to tell you all about the new Starbucks Baya energy drink because, well, I just had a new Starbucks Baya energy drink. Yeah, this morning. Oh, very tasty. Caffeine naturally found in coffee fruit. It's energy that's good. It's that good energy. Each 12-ounce, 90-calorie can contains 160 milligrams of caffeine and includes 3 delicious fruity flavors, each one similar to your favorite No Dunks podcaster. Listen to this breakdown. Eat your heart out, Mike Schmitz. This is comparison work here. AKOC, watch this. There's mango guava. That would be Lee. Because it sounds exotic.
Okay.
There's raspberry lime. Raspberry lime. That's Trey. Very sweet. But if you push his buttons, he's a little tart.
Nice. I like that.
Very well done.
And finally, Tass, your pineapple passion fruit.
Thanks.
Tough exterior. But once you crack it, this guy's the best. There you go.
What about you? They need a fourth flavor.
They don't have a fourth. But
fifth.
Starbucks Baya energy drink packs energy and flavor that gives me the boost when gearing up to watch the big basketball game, head to the Classic Factory here to podcast, or just bouncing around from meeting to meeting. Yeah, believe it or not, we have meetings
Bouncing.
when it comes to this show. I just literally booked a meeting for us tomorrow.
saw that.
I added you. It's in your calendar.
I already clicked yes.
Okay, good. JD, you too, man. So you can't, don't have anything at 2 o'clock tomorrow. We have a meeting. Maybe have a Starbucks Baya energy drink.
Did you check my calendar?
I didn't. It's handy and always ready to boost my day as well as yours. Starbucks Baya energy drink is available online. It's at grocery stores, convenience stores, and gas stations nationwide.
If you were going to have a flavor, what flavor do you think you would be?
That's a good question. I mean, I like raspberry.
Yeah, you're a raspberry boy.
I've been eating a lot of strawberry jam lately.
All right.
Strawberry jam, man. Raspberry jam. I forget. I go years without eating jam sometimes.
Years?
Yeah. I think I went a full decade without eating jam. And then Nora found one.
That's ridiculous.
And I'm like,
Found
this
jam?
is the best.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did she find it?
She found a good one. I think it's Trader Joe jam.
Joe Jam.
Yeah.
Joe Jam and Earl, one of my favorite
great.
games out there. Anyways, it felt like summer yesterday. Hot weather, kids in the inflatable pool, Grateful Dead on the radio, and some Omaha steaks on the grill. Nice little Sunday. I thought I was a step ahead of the game for this ad read until I found out that I wasn't the only no-dunker getting busy on the grill with my Omaha steaks. Skeets, he'd already thrown down a filet mignon.
Yep.
JD was getting ready to barbecue some burgers.
Yeah, it was.
And Tass had seemingly already sampled all of the various meats.
No doubt.
In the Dad's Want Steaks package. He even tried the caramel apple tartlets.
Oh,
I don't know that we've ever been more prepared for an ad read. For just $99, the limited time Dads Want Steaks package includes 16 mouth-watering entrees like smoky, tender, bacon-wrapped filet mignons, gourmet jumbo franks, and their air-chilled, boneless chicken breasts. And for a sweet finish, yeah, it's Gary's favorite, caramel apple tartlets.
A direct line to my heartlet. Those caramel apple tartlets. Never seen that word before, but I like it.
They're good.
Tarts to the hearts. But as a special gift for my listeners, when you type my listeners specifically, I asked for this promo code, Skeets.
Okay.
When you type No Dunks in the search bar and order the Dads Want Steaks package, you'll also get 8 free Omaha Steaks burgers because I asked for them for you, dads. Don't wait. Send Dad more than just a gift. Send him an experience he'll love and will likely share with you. Your dad's hooking you up with a steak or a frank, maybe even a tartlet. Go to omahasteaks.com and type No Dunks into the search bar. Order the Dads Want Steaks package. You'll get 16 entrees, 4 desserts, plus 8 free Omaha Steaks burgers. Omaha Steaks isn't just steak, it's the best steak of your life, guaranteed. That's omahasteaks.com. Use my personal keyword, No Dunks.
There you go. Father's Day is like, less than 2 weeks now, right?
Is it?
It's the 19th, I think.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What are you getting yourself?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Snuck up on me this
Do you
year.
hope
thought it was
Sebby
the-
or Oscar get you some Omaha steaks?
Yeah, they'll do something. Yeah, I thought it was the first Sunday of whatever month it's in. It's different. See, it's different in England and
Well,
Australia.
it would have been yesterday then.
Yeah,
so.
well, that's right. Yeah, maybe I thought maybe they would just.
It might be American. I should say American Father's Day. I don't know if there's different celebrations going around.
Yeah, it's not until September, I think, for the Commonwealth.
Be a slick
What about
dad
Canada?
move if they are different.
It's June in Canada.
Yeah,
isn't
No,
it?
is it? Okay.
You don't celebrate it as much as I thought you would.
No, I mean every Sunday's Father's Day for me.
Damn, that's nice. All right, let's get to tweet of the night.
Finally.
Yeah. Now you can't even go to it.
Wow.
Queued up for hours, trying to play us off last segment.
Well, I'm not surprised JD's pretty keen to get to it tonight because it's the NBA Finals and the great website, its Twitter account, NBA Cobwebs, came up with this tweet over the weekend talking about the finals game from 1984. Now, I want you to watch this clip and tell me if you notice anything particular about it. Okay, here it is.
Kevin, a little sidebar to this series. The great actor Jack Nicholson was in the Boston Garden. He really stirred that crowd up, and then he left early. Wouldn't you know it? He was on the team plane with the Celtics coming out to Los Angeles. The movie? It was Terms of Endearment. He won an Academy Award for his part in that movie. They got down to the end of it, the critical scenes. M.L. Carr took off his headset, threw it down, says, I'm not watching the end of your movie. You didn't watch the end of our Victor.
So that was in Los Angeles, in the Forum there in Inglewood in 1984. What stood out to you there?
Well, it's Jack smoking? Smoking a cigarette? Yeah.
Having a dart courtside
Sure, man.
before a game. I mean,
I thought he was vaping.
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, can't imagine what it must be like to walk into an arena and just be smoking cigarettes. It just seems so ancient.
Oh.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, he's got a cool style there. But
Do you believe the story that who was that?
ML Carr.
Brent
Oh,
Musburger?
yeah.
Was that Brent Musburger? Yeah, the story that ML Carr turned the movie off with
absolutely.
Jack on the same flight back.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah. Don't know if he won an Oscar for that one, but did he?
Yeah, he did. He said it's in the clip.
Oh, he did say that.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. I was so focused on the cigarette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's a great Twitter account.
Yes.
NBA Cobwebs. That's one of the best out there, especially for old heads like you.
Smoking on aeroplanes. Remember that?
A little ashtray beside
Yeah,
that.
I know.
Wild.
I remember my first big flight. I went to London, and me and Mum were in the last row before the smoking row started. So we were in the non-smoking section.
Right.
The smoking started. I remember it was like, and we had like 10 stops to get to London back in 1981 there. I remember Mum just like the whole way. It was like, because these people in front of us just smoked non-stop. wild stuff.
Yeah, but you weren't in the smoking area.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's like
Just
having
magically stops there.
It's like having a non-pissing part of the swimming pool for kids. It's like that's where you piss, kids, nowhere else.
Wait, that exists?
I mean, that's basically
a roped off area in the pool that kids can go piss
It's the
in?
shallow end is where you can pee, and it stays in the shallow end.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, man, we talk about how you can get away with farting on an airplane now.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s, you could eat all the burritos you wanted.
You were asking for it.
Yeah,
Right, exactly.
Somebody farting here smells too much like smoke. So, terms of endearment, Shirley MacLaine and Deborah Winger nominated for Best Actress. John Lithgow and Jack Nicholson both nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
What a movie.
Wow. Stacked cast. Stacked. Lee, what's your favorite term of endearment?
Wow.
Babe?
Yeah. Well,
Honey?
I mean,
Sweetie?
Sugar Pop. I know there was Sugar Pop there for a while.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Never heard of that one.
I haven't either.
Sugar plum. Yeah.
All right. Let us know in the comments. Favorite term of endearment. And we'll call it there, I think, guys. Oh, wait. Do you have any thoughts on the Atlanta Dream game we saw yesterday? Tess and I went to our first WNBA game yesterday here in Atlanta.
It was an entertaining game.
It really was. I mean, the game itself was a little rough.
Oh, yeah, that's not what I
Not a
meant.
lot of
I meant-
shot making. It was a tough
Hey,
game.
the
I would
Fever
say,
are having a
offensively.
rough year.
They are.
Tamika Catchings in that front office, they got to get things together. They're rough. But some good point guard play.
Yep.
Wish we saw a little bit more from Howard. She didn't need to do much.
She got going in the third, but rough first half.
Yeah.
It was all
some
defense.
nice footwork. She's got some nice footwork.
If you miss post-up play in the NBA, you don't see a lot of it really anymore, right? With the three ball. Go watch a WNBA game. They go to work down there. It's actually really fun. You're like, oh yeah, this used to be like an NBA thing where you could just feed it into the big man or the big woman in this case and go to work. And holy crap, it was fun to watch and good crowd.
Yeah, it was
fun
great.
time.
Right? Yeah, the better teams probably don't go to the post as much.
You don't
right?
think so?
I watch the Sky work. They don't need to do that.
Yeah, that's true. We were
Vandersloot's making things happen.
we had the dream
but we
fever,
yeah, coffee in the corner. Loved coffee in the corner.
which is good. You got to get down.
Oh, well,
Take
yeah,
the boys
where
out to
they
the game.
don't play at the...
Play in College Park.
Yeah, that's right.
By the
that's
airport.
Right. Yeah.
So it's only going to take
How many
you-
were there?
It's a small venue. I mean, I don't know, 5,000 maybe?
It's fine, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's definitely fine.
Don't want
It's
that
fine.
echoey.
Well, they used to play it definitely
yeah,
at
that's
Phillips
right.
Arena,
Yeah.
I guess it was called then. It was
Yeah.
too cavernous. No, it's really fun. It's got the vibe of like sort of the arena setting. I said to Tass, like when we go to All-Star Weekend and they build like those sort of like
Right.
courts in like a convention center. It's actually a part of a convention center where
Yeah,
they play,
yeah.
but it has that sort of feel to it.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it works, and the crowd was into it, and they're winning the Dream with Howard, their number one pick. Good time. Let's go out. Let's get the entire crew, No Dunks crew, out to a Dream game. We should really look into getting courtside seats.
Yeah.
Put the feet right on the floor. They're not crazy.
Yeah.
Like I think they're like $100.
That's what you were paying for a New Orleans Pelicans ticket earlier this season, remember? $100 courtside.
I do remember.
Yeah.
I do remember. Anyway, we should get out there.
Yeah, it was a good time.
All right, let's call it there. Email in your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok @NoDunksInc. Get yourself an athletic subscription. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks. And if you want some No Dunks merch, I'm looking around. I guess JD has some No Dunks merch on. I don't think you can buy that shirt in the No Dunks store. But anyway, go to nodunks.com. That's our sort of our Chicago All-Star Weekend.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Limited edition shirt there that JD's rocking.
You can't snooze. You got to jump on merch when it comes out because you never know when it's going to go away.
That's right. Got some Celtics-inspired finals wedgie gear available at nodunks.com. Okay, you guys are leaving tomorrow for Boston, but you're here in the Classic Factory with the crew until the flight?
That's right, yeah.
You're going to make it in time?
Hope so.
Don't have to do a quick show? You have time to get your pizza?
Yeah, well, yes, hopefully.
There's no rules in an airport, as Trey always says?
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat a big old Chipotle burrito.
Oh,
right before we get
call it.
huge. The biggest one they can make.
You better
All
hope they
beans.
can smoke on that plane.
Well, I'm gonna buy a pack. Duty free.
Gotta buy a carton. Can't buy a pack.
Well, until tomorrow here in the Classic Factory, you guys have a great day. Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, here's a little bit of a callback on a callback. We talked about Chuck D's tweet about Draymond Green. It's like he's putting his head in the lion's mouth 9 times out of 10. What is the lion going to do? But maybe Draymond Green watched our show on Friday where we were talking about the potions that you could take, the options. You never need sleep, speak every language. All felines like you upon meeting you. Maybe Draymond Green has had that potion and the lion will never bite him.
Wow.
Cool story.
I was wondering how you're going to get there. You got there, my man.
I drove.
What a
I got
potion.
there. Drove my Mack truck.
Embrace the day, people.